What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Kevin Jackowitz here, and today is kind of a big work day for me. So I thought for one of my vlogs, since I didn't really get to show you much about my work day last time, I thought I would do that this time. And I'm setting up probably an entire day's worth of furniture. Lady moved into a house, and part of the staging bit is I assemble. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head out. We got a bunch of stuff to put together, entertainment center, a bunch of chairs, end tables. So they buy the stuff from Wayfair, and it comes unassembled in a box. I put it together, and I get paid pretty good money for it, honestly, when I get the chance to do it. It's kind of few and far between, honestly, right now, with my health condition. I mean, I don't really get to do this a lot. So it's really nice when I get days like today. So next, I will probably be at the house and working on putting stuff together. So I'll try to show you some of that. So I'm here. This is a table I'm putting together. I'm putting the base on a tabletop, and then I'm going to flip it over. And I got some chairs to put together and a bar stool. So it's really basic stuff. I mean, I'm just putting screws and holes, basically. I mean, it's really not difficult work. And it really doesn't get my heart rate up. It doesn't affect my body too much usually. Sometimes when I'm dealing with heavy stuff, I have to take a break. I'm pretty sure I've well documented my health issues. Sometimes that does come into play, which is actually why I don't get to do this nearly as often as I'd like. But it's a nice way of doing things, honestly. It really is. It lets me put my hand to something. Not too labor intensive. And it's fun, honestly. Now, I don't always get to do this. But when I do, it's nice because, frankly, it does pay pretty well. I always deal with styrofoam too. Like everything comes packed in styrofoam. But the nice thing about this is, when you're doing something like this, it still allows you a little bit of creative freedom when you're talking about interior design. Now, obviously, Di is the one who does that. She's the one who has the interior design. She's got the brain for it. But it's nice because apparently I have a little bit of a talent for it, according to her. And so I get to put that talent to good use. Sometimes I get to help her with, like I said, placing things, or she'll ask my opinion on what she thinks of how things look or how things are set up. And you get a bit of creative freedom, which is fun. I gotta find my tool bag real quick. It's right here. And then I just prop 4 screws into this table and it's done. And then, like I said, I have chairs I have to put around it. I'm already into 2 screws here. Two more, and we have a table. Now because of how I feel from day to day, I tend to start with the biggest thing first because that's going to take the most out of me. And after that, it's usually pretty smooth sailing. Sometimes I do get some big things, and like I said, I don't always do well with that. I try. Sometimes my body just does not cooperate. And this is the very last screw right here. So we're going to tighten this down. And that's it. That is the table. So I'm going to get some of the boxing out of the way. Let's get that over there. And really for me, this next part is the hardest part for my whole day. So, for me, sometimes getting my heart rate up really affects the rest of my body. I don't know why, but it really sets me on edge. I get really shaky sometimes and my heart rate won't go down for hours. And I mean like 4 or 5 hours sometimes. But this is just kind of a standard table and I'm just rolling it over, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, if there was ever a really big problem for the day, this would be the point. But thankfully, I can kind of just roll this over. Very, very gingerly, of course. You gotta use a little muscle to get it off of that leg. And there you have a table, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. That's all it takes. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot this table. Well, actually, it's not badly placed as it is. So if I scoot it just a little bit, we have disco. There we go. And that's it. That's what I do. I move furniture and I put it together. I got some chairs I'm going to go grab and a stool, and I'll show you that, which isn't really anything different. But this is my work day. Now every once in a while I get a really, really easy piece, and thank God, because some of them are really, really incredibly rough. I just put a TV stand together that was probably 4 or 5 hours worth of work. So when I get these, it's really nice. Now this, it's just a bar stool. And obviously I got cardboard on the table to protect it. You want to make sure that you've got something on the surface of the table so it doesn't get scratched. You know, that's obviously going to cost you some pennies if you wind up scratching somebody's furniture. So you got to be careful with that. But this is literally just 4 screws. You put the base on, line it up, you put 4 screws in, and you're good to go. That's all that this piece is. And like I said, that's a very nice thing, because not all of them are like that. Not by far, honestly. I'm going to loosen this one a little bit just so it's a little bit more adjustable. Makes it easier to find the holes. Yeah, if you're ever putting furniture together, especially if you have bases like this, a strong, very solid piece of advice is don't tighten your screws down until you have as many in as you can get in one particular section, because If you can get all the screws in, you know you're not going to have to fight to get one in later when you've got everything else tightened down and it's hard to move. So I've already got all 4 screws in, and now I'm just tightening down. There's 1. There's 2. Sometimes the Allen wrenches don't want to let go. There's 3. There's 4. That's it. That is your bar stool. It is completed. Simple as can be. And for a lot of chairs, like I'll get paid like $150, anywhere between $100 and $150 for 2 chairs. And I think it's about the same rate, about $150 for 3 bar stools. Now that all evens out because sometimes you only get paid $100 for those TV stands, which like I said, they can take 4 or 5 hours sometimes, depending on how intricate it is. So it does all balance out in the end. But it is nice when I get a room full of these because $150 for 2 chairs, if I get 8 chairs, it doesn't take me very long and I just made a nice pocket full of change. So, here's the stool. Now the last thing I'm doing for today is I'm putting together 6 chairs for this table. Again, I have the cardboard on the table so as to not scratch it, but I also have all my screws, nuts, and bolts on a box next to the table because those I don't want on the table at all because they roll and it's just too easy to make marks on the surface of the table. Now these only come with 4 pieces plus the seat itself, so I don't expect it to be very difficult. There's always a learning curve with the first one. Anytime you do the first of anything, you got to look at the instructions, go step by step. But usually after that, the next 5 are very, very simple because you know what you're doing and you don't have to waste too much time. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put these together. Now the first thing they want you to do here is they want you to grab the back of your chair. And you are going to put these side slats in the chair. So you're going to stick one in, flip it to the side. Oh no, I lied, see? Learning curve. They have these black little rubber things that are kind of curved, and that's actually going to make the screw match up because there's a big curve in the bottom of this thing. So in order to get it to line up, you have to stick that in there. So you're going to set that there. You're going to grab your handy dandy Allen wrench, and I tend to just get it set in, not to go all the way down because you have to put the other one in. So I'm coming over here to grab those parts. Shouldn't be that difficult. Doesn't look like it's going to be that difficult. Same thing. And then you just tighten these down. And so common sense tells you that this is going to be much the same way. And you do have to pay attention to the shape of these things. And I'm going to tighten these most of the way down, but again, I'm not going to tighten them all the way down because I don't know if I want them being stiff. And I may have actually gotten them too stiff. But we'll find out in a second. We'll see how the other side goes on. So you put the little washer around the bolt. Put your little piece that makes it fit in there properly. And I actually thought that the design would make these very hard to put together, but it's really not, thankfully. I am actually very thankful for that. So, the next thing you need to do, clearly, is to line these up, get them situated so that you have the base for your chair. Verify that you have all the same pieces going in, because you don't want to add or assume. Always look at your instructions at least once before doing anything when you're not familiar with a chair or any piece of furniture, because it can save you a lot of frustration. And honestly, putting the furniture together, it's just paying attention to the instructions. That's all it is. As long as you pay attention and you're looking at the instructions. Now, some of them have very poor instructions, I'll be the first to admit. So sometimes it does take a little utilizing some common sense. Okay, so we're already getting our base locked together, and this isn't taking very long. Like I said, I get $150 for 2 of these chairs, I think it is. So that tells you if I was healthy and I was doing everything to the best of my ability every day, I'd be banking. Like, the potential is really there. Like, the potential is amazingly there, honestly. Okay, so we have the chair set up. And now we just have to get the seat on. Not a problem, we can do that. So you have some pegs right here and right here that show you where to line this seat up. So that almost makes it idiot-proof. So you have a peg there and a peg there, the seat just sits right on it. That's beautiful. Like, truly, that is beautiful. Now there's some screws that you actually have to use a screwdriver for. So we're going to go ahead and grab those. And I have a screwdriver. So what we're going to do, we're going to set this baby on its side so that we can kind of get access to it. And then these screws are going to go right up in here. And again, the whole time you want to make sure that you're snug on those pegs. Alright, so these screws actually go in fairly easily. They really, really do. And that's a good thing. Okay, so your seat after this screw is locked in, and then you tighten down. Notice again, I say tightening everything down because that's important. You want to make sure everything is locked in and fits before you tighten it down. Because once you tighten it down, if it doesn't fit, you have to untighten it. Just makes sense, right? So instead of going through all the hassle of doing it and then undoing it, just take some time, be patient, tighten everything at the end. And it will save you time, because I guarantee there will be moments when that will come into play. That is a guarantee from me to you. And it doesn't take long at the end to tighten everything down anyway. So I'm going to hide behind here for a second, get these other screws cinched in. Yeah. Excuse me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is your first chair. That's it. That's how we do it. So, I have 5 more to do. Two. 3. 4. And 5 more. Now this is a bit different venue. I am now at the warehouse. And the warehouse is where Diana stores all of her stuff. She stores all of her furniture and accessories and things that she does staging with. So here she has a table that she wants me to put together. So I'm going to do that real quick. And the warehouse is actually kind of a big place. There's a lot of furniture here, and of course I'm not going to tell you where it's at, so don't ask. But it is a rather large place. One of the big things about this place is it's kind of dimly lit, so yeah, I'll do the best I can with the lighting. Unfortunately, it may be a little dark. Now the voices you hear in the background, we got, you know, other offices in this complex, so I have to keep the door open, otherwise I won't see what I'm doing. So these are literally just a matter of screwing these in here. And they actually get a little tough as you get down to the bottom. So you just lock that in and do that 3 more times. Pretty basic, right? I would imagine that for the actual video of this, I'm going to add some music. Of course, a piece goes flying, because this is super tight when it gets down to the bottom. You have to really put some torque on it. There we go. Down to 2. This one's pretty tight right off the bat. Yeah, I really have to torque this one. And so I've already did the first one of these, so I started it the other day and then realized I'm going to need a very long shaft screwdriver for part of this, which I did not have at the time. I had a cordless and it would not stretch long enough. Okay, so there's your 4 legs. Now you have 4 turnstiles. This will grab onto a hook that's coming out of the base of the desktop, and you turn it and it locks into place. And this is where I needed the extra reach. And you stick all 4 of these in. And they just slide into these already pre-cut holes fairly easily. And then you have to line these up. And unfortunately, it's pretty dark in here. I have a light. Let me turn that on real quick. That'll give me a little bit of light anyway. That should be good there. Should, anyway. Getting these to line up is tricky, not gonna lie. Let's see how I did. You have 4 pegs that are going to come out of this baseboard. Just line them up. Get all the holes lined up. And this is where you run into problems. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to have to come back with a flashlight because it's just too dark and I can't see what I'm doing. What I can do, however, so I can probably go ahead and put the bottoms on, and then way all I have to do is slap on the rest of it. So really after this, the table is virtually put together. I just need a flashlight so I can actually see into these holes. Because I have to have them lined up, all 4 of them just right. And it's not lining up because I can't see it. So I'm going to have to come back with like a mag light or something so I can see down in there. But other than that, this thing will be put together.
serve you two anyway. Yeah, they will only serve you two. Yeah. Oh, they do. Look, well, you can't tell us alcohol. It's like one of the drinks, like it's their own relative concoction. You know what? You have to tell us. That's the same way. I had a girl came in the bar, I was running on the pigs. Every day she came in after work and she would sit down, she had a long iced tea, and she would sleep. Every single day during the week. And one day she came in, she went, I think I'll have one. And I said, are you sure that you guys see that? What was that?
Had a couple Harleys over there. Okay, so this thing is done now, except for the lineup. So this is what I do. I had to go over there, put the printers together. I had to come over here, bring Di's toolbox back to her warehouse, and put this table together, which is like 90% done now. I just have to get the mag light so I can see down the hole, so I can move those pieces so they line up correctly. Other than that, I mean, it's not usually very taxing physically, which is a great thing because, as I said previously, I can't do physically taxing at the moment. I can go so far and then I just stop and I can't do anything else. So this is a nice gig, it really is. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what a workday looks like for me. So this is what a day in my life looks like. I've shown you what an entire day looks like, and now this is my work day. I come in, usually I put some furniture together, I have some dealings at the warehouse sometimes. Sometimes it's just moving furniture from the warehouse to the actual house that it's going into. Sometimes it's putting things in certain places and arranging it so it looks lived in. And sometimes it's just basic, throwing furniture together, tightening screws, which is really all it comes down to. It is fun though. Like I said, it gets me to put my hands to something, and there is some creativity to it at times. Now, hopefully I'll be able to get to show you the other side of that at some point. I don't know. It just depends, and honestly, a lot of that depends on Di, if she's cool with it, because at the end of the day, it is her staging and interior design business, so I would never try to do anything without her permission. So there is that. You don't step on your boss's feet. So, I hope this was a nice, insightful look into my life, though. It's fun to share those things. It really is. And the next phase of me telling my story will be happening very soon. And I'm not telling you what it is yet, but it's coming, and it's going to be hopefully very cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. My name is Kevin Jackwitz, Kaged Nation out.